That's where we are, I think, right now in America. We have solved and addressed, we have addressed and solved a lot of the problems that we confronted early on. There's now a question, now that we have achieved so much, of what will we do with our wealth? What will we do with our freedom? What will we do with the opportunities that we have been given? And I think that is the great question. I'll close with just a brief anecdote. The great Lech Walesa, who was the leader of the Polish Solidarity movement, who resisted the communists in Poland, one, I think, of the important linchpins in the defeat of the evil empire, as Ronald Reagan called it. When Lech Walesa, the leader of that trade union movement, came to the United States, he spoke to Congress, he spoke at the United Nations, and when he left the U.S., he left from New York Harbor. And with the Statue of Liberty behind him, he thanked the American people. He said, "Thank you for teaching the world, for teaching all of us, for teaching everyone in the world the great lesson that freedom must be the cornerstone of any legitimate society." He said, "But now that you have taught us about freedom and that we all are of your view, now teach us about the responsible exercise of that freedom. You've taught us about freedom, now teach us about responsibility." And he said, "Because if you do not teach us, America, who will?" That lesson, the teaching of that lesson and the learning of that lesson, I think, is what the agenda is for the next 20 years.
Gradually, as we become more comfortable in the world in which we live, I think, or what I've done, is I've turned loose some of the things that I used to hold on to tightly, and I've begun to grab onto others that I'm a lot more comfortable with. And I believe that we can come together with all of this broad diversity of people on the planet, and we can live together as brothers and sisters, and we can live together at peace, and we can prosper. And because I believe that, I have found that one's beliefs create a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. One of the few things not one of the few things, but one of the things I agree with Jesse Jackson on is that he says, if we can conceive it and believe it, we can achieve it. And that's almost become a kind of American mantra. It's another value. It says, in the midst of all of this confusion, if we have an understanding of what's going on, if we can believe in the possibility of a solution, whatever the problem and how great it is, we as a people working together in a free society with this complicated, materialistic, capitalistic economy of ours, somehow can come together and reconcile all of these forces with our environment and with the order that we have come to believe in as the kingdom of God.